Hey, dear friends. Yes, I did go to see Inland Empire tonight in Denver, and wow, what an experience. A pretty good crowd there. I'm giving you the short capsule summary review here. The longer 15-minute review that is sort of a Lynchian visual experience in a way, well, my attempt, is over on my YouTube channel at Flux, Flux, Flux 369. Ben Patterson on YouTube, trying to get to 200 subscribers. If you can help me out and subscribe, or just, or watch the video, even if you like, go ahead. Appreciate that. But I loved Inland Empire. This has really moved way up in my list of favorite David Lynch films. As I mentioned, I had not seen it in 16 years. That's a long time. I don't know why I hadn't revisited it. I have the DVD, I had it a long time, just never bothered to watch it. I just didn't remember it being that great a film. It was a very unusual film when I saw it back in 2006, and very impressed with Laura Dern's performance. Very strange and almost a nightmare kind of a film. Not in a horrific way like a Freddy Krueger nightmare movie or something like that, but very abstract. And I want to talk about abstraction in films. David Lynch loves abstract art. I mean, that's what he's really all about. These are films that contain ideas that are not linear, analytical, like the mainstream Hollywood formula movie with a narrative. There's the good guy meets girl, some action happens, something bad happens, they resolve it, and happy ever after. That's garbage to me. That's not real life. David Lynch films encapsulate real life so much more. And what I mean by that is this film is a reflection of life as a film. We're living sort of in a very multi-dimensional film compared to what you see on a screen that's just two-dimensional. We're in a three-dimensional world, or hopefully 4 and 5D nowadays. But our film is not typically like a happy ending Hollywood film, which we want it to be. Most people want their lives all wrapped up, neat, predictable, explainable, coherent, logical. They want a certain sequence in their life that they can be comfortable with. And I'm no different. We all sort of gravitate towards wanting that. But that does create a certain level of, I think, boredom and complacency, if that's all our life's about. If we don't push ourselves a little bit to risk a little, live on the edge at times, be a little outrageous, take some risks, and all that good stuff. And we know that life is going to have adventures. It's going to have some upsetting situations and moments that emotionally are going to trigger us. There's no doubt about that, without question. Every life has pain. The amount of suffering that we want to indulge and experience, that's generally pretty optional. I mean, we do have a choice as to how much suffering we want to experience in our pain. And I think so much of society today, we're trying to avoid pain. Pleasure has become the new thing. Convenience, comfortableness, faster downloads, faster this, convenient fast food, whatever, more comfortable bed and chair, clothing. It just has become where people don't even want to have any kind of pain in their life anymore, even though you're gonna have it. You can't get away from it. And in this film, David Lynch explores that theme through the abstract art of the story of Laura Dern, a woman in trouble. I don't want to get too much into the film. I haven't read any reviews on it. This is all off the top of my head, but it basically, I think, illustrates that life is not a neat package tied up with a ribbon. Life is messy. Relationships are messy. Our own inner self, our consciousness, our emotions, they're messy. They're conflicted many times, and we're always trying to smooth them out and sand it down and polish it a little bit, but you just can't do that perpetually all the time. There are going to be these bumps in the road. And in the film, it starts out even a little bit strange, and it gets stranger and stranger as it goes along. A 3-hour film that went by very, very fast for me because it was so unusual, so unpredictable. And I did not remember very much of it, to be honest with you. So it was almost like seeing it the very first time. Great performance by Laura Dern, and all the supporting actors great. Of course, David Lynch, this film, I would compare it a little bit to Lost Highway. There were elements even of Eraserhead in it, and Mulholland Drive a little bit. You can see some crossover little themes and things like that that were similar, but this is very unique in his pantheon, his canon of films. This film stands alone, I think, as an analysis of a woman and her femininity and her masculinity. All men have a feminine side that's more smaller than the masculine, and women have a smaller masculine side. But we have those sides, and in most films, they ignore that. Men are all kind of macho and guy-like. unless they're gay, you know, which is okay. But I mean, that's a whole different kind of thing. And then women are very feminine in films unless they're like kick-ass punching the guys, which is also an okay thing at times, necessary. But that's not what he explores in this film. He touches on femininity that is very erotic, very sensual, and yet not glossy and slick like a model, like a Lady Gaga, Madonna, or whoever, you know, movie star type. It's more feminine in a more organic way, which is all what David Lynch is about, the organic. And also the masculine traits and qualities of the women in the movie, especially Laura Dern. I found them, I mean, she was very bold and brave to expose herself the way she did. A lot of close-up shots of her face in the film. You see this a lot in the movie, and a lot of still expressions that are not very animated. So we get a moment to really delve into the shape of her face, the lines, her eyes, her mouth, and her color of her skin, and the tone, and just the shape. And it was shot on digital video recorders, film, camera, whatever he did it with digital cameras, and then transferred to 35 millimeter. And I just really, really loved the film, was enthralled with it. I will watch it again in the near future with subtitles so that I can pick up some of the dialogue I missed. But this is a not to be missed film by David Lynch. If you're a Lynch fan, you haven't seen it in a while or ever seen it, I highly recommend you check out Inland Empire. It will be an experience that will change you, I believe, in some way, because you will begin to see that life has its own abstractions, and each life does. And the more we can appreciate that and delve into that sometimes, there are opportunities that go far beyond what the linear analytical brain offers us. It gives us an opportunity to see the artistic and artistry of our own life and life itself. And I think that's an important facet of being a human being. So, thumbs up for Inland Empire.